Hey y'all, this piece is called Parts, Prophet, Purpose, and it is inspired by the story of Esther and Vashti in Esther chapter 1 verse 10 through 12, and then I'll skip down and read Esther chapter 2 verse 17. So there'll be a little gap in the story, but it's about Esther and Vashti, so y'all get it. Here we go. On the 7th day of the feast, when King Xerxes was high in spirits because of the wine, he told his 7 eunuchs who attended to him, Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcas, to bring Queen Vashti to him with her royal crown on her head. He wanted the nobles and all the other men to gaze on her beauty, for she was a very beautiful woman. But when they conveyed the king's orders to Queen Vashti, she refused to come. This made the king furious, and he burned with anger. And the other piece is, and the king loved Esther more than any other young woman. He was so delighted with her that he set the royal crown on her head and declared her queen instead of Vashti. Parts, Prophet, Purpose. I have led every relationship with my parts. How they looked, smelled, and what I can make them do. Drunk parts, high parts, freaky parts, parts. Then there came a time when my parts started to change. They began to sag and lag and even drag, honey. My parts became things about which I can no longer brag. What I started with, I can no longer continue. The game was moving faster than I can keep up with. I mean, there was so many other parts around. Smaller parts, firmer parts, younger parts, drunken parts, higher parts, freakier parts, parts. Honey, there were parts that could be made to do things I could not imagine making my parts do. I could no longer keep up. So I was replaced, dethroned. But since I ain't no quitter, I flipped the script and began to lead with my next best thing, my prophet. I got on my grind and I raised my bottom line and I earned more degrees in the thermometer and I became a hustler trying to get all the bags. I mean, I took care of all the creature comforts. Live your best dream, baby. Follow your heart, honey, I would say. I got this, boo. Well, as you could probably guess, my prophet, my best prophet, was still not enough. You see, there were bigger prophets, easier prophets, prophets with no strings attached, prophets over here, prophets over there, deeper prophets, wider prophets, legacy prophets, generational prophets, prophets. So, once again, I fell behind. And once again, I was replaced, dethroned. Well, damn. Now what? How am I supposed to attract a mate? Who am I aside from my parts? And what is my worth aside from my profits? I obviously have nothing left to offer, right? I was at my wit's end, so I decided to go to sleep because I like sleep and it was the easiest thing to do. And in my slumber came a dream, and in my dream came a fire. Me, my parts, and my prophets sat in that fire, burning. I forced myself to keep us sitting in that fire. I stayed in that fire until the lies about my parts had burned away. I stayed in that fire until the illusion about my prophet had been incinerated. Through the pain of being replaced, dethroned, I stayed in that fire. Well, when that fire subsided, I received a new understanding, for standing under the ashes with me was my purpose. My purpose had always been standing with me in inside of me while I focused on my parts and profits, my purpose. That thing that makes me non-replaceable, undethronable. Yes, it is my profit. It is in my profit that I find undeniable peace. Hey, it is in my purpose that I find unspeakable joy. What? It is in my purpose that I find unconditional love. My purpose is what makes me non-replaceable, undethronable. Did you hear me? I said my purpose is what makes me non-replaceable, undethronable, and yours will do the same thing for you. Find your purpose, find it, and never let it go.